We have modified the public participation portion beginning tonight. As you may know, our policy, written policy, is that we'll have 15 minutes of public participation during each regular meeting. We have waived that policy, which is also allowed under the policy, for the last 3 or 4 months because we've had such an outpouring of people. Tonight, we have stated that to get the broadest response for whatever issues may be in front of us, we are setting aside the 15-minute period for people who haven't spoken in the last 3 meetings. And this will be a rolling 3-month sort of thing. If there are not enough new speakers, then certainly anybody that has spoken in the past 3 months is eligible to do that up to the 15-minute limitation. Having said all of that, tonight it doesn't matter because we have 4 people signed up, 2 new folks and 2 repeaters, so to speak. So we will get on to that in just a little bit. First speaker tonight will be Bob Creighton.
I would like to thank the board for this opportunity to speak and for their patience in this difficult situation. My name is Bob, and I'm here to address the events which led to Mr. Freshwater's public announcement that he would not remove his Bible. This event is the apparent shift in school district bylaws and policies interpretation. This reinterpretation of policy came to a head when the new principal asked Mr. Freshwater to remove religious displays and his personal Bible from the classroom. I asked Mr. Freshwater if there had been a change in school policy. He assured me that in 21 years, no principal, and there were 5, nor superintendent, also 5, ever asked him to remove the objects. When I asked Mr. Freshwater how the new principal justified this action, he related that he'd asked the same question. The principal gave him a copy of policy 2270, religion in the curriculum. He said the policy clearly states that no devotional exercise or displays of a religious character will be permitted in the school of this district, justifying the action. This is an incomplete sentence and a reinterpretation of policy based on faulty analysis. When you read the sentence in context, you can see the intent of the policy. The first paragraph reads, I quote, based on the First Amendment, protection against the establishment of religion in the schools, no devotional exercise or displays of religious character may be permitted in the schools of this district in the conduct of any program or activity under the jurisdiction of the board. Instructional activities shall not be permitted to advance or inhibit any particular religion. It says that no religious displays or exercises will be used for the conduct of any program or activity. It clearly is referring to the nature of activities and programs, not displays. This paragraph defines the only time that displays of religious nature are not allowed, not the many times or reasons that they would be allowed. The paragraph may have easily said, religious displays are okay, but you can't have programs or activities that advance or inhibit religion. The appropriate context of this document and the long-standing interpretation of it allowed Mr. Freshwater and all other teachers in the Mount Vernon City School District to have religious displays as long as they were not teaching programs or basing activities on those displays, which Mr. Freshwater was not doing. Even the ridiculous accusations brought against him had nothing to do with the context of the religious displays. It is clear that the long-standing, appropriate understanding of this document was changed for an inappropriate one. What's the time?
30 seconds.
Who is responsible for the alteration? Should not changes of the bylaws and policies of the board be discussed in public forum? Should not the general public be advised of discussion of a change in policy? Should not policy changed by a board be a public record? Should not a superintendent be informed of the changes and instructed how to train the principals in a smooth execution of said change? Should not the principals explain the changes to all teachers so they can modify their performances? Should not teachers be given several opportunities to change their behavior, especially 21 years of behavior?
Time. I want to say, first of all, that we're not against the board, as some have suggested. You have what, for the most part, is a thankless job. It is disconcerting that we just took for granted that you were individuals who, as a group, would stand for the liberties that we have so long enjoyed. While we're not against you, we have found ourselves in disagreement with your decision concerning John Freshwater, and thus we are expressing our opinion. There are many who may not profess fundamental Christianity as their personal experience, but are firm supporters of the moral, upright rules and laws that have guided and included God, our nation, for over 200 years of freedom. We do realize that you have chosen to devise some reasons for firing John, reasons that are flimsy at best and supported by the investigation of a firm whose expertise is not that of investigation. In my opinion, these were selected to support your reasons rather than to find truth. It is difficult for me to imagine that none of the school board would have conviction or courage enough to vote in favor of such a man as John Freshwater, especially without having talked to him personally or never questioning or confronting him as a school board. Since Metal and Murray, one by one, things are being taken from us because of a small percentage of populous people who cry, "We don't want to be offended." The other 85% of us, according to NBC poll, who still believe in God, have kept silent too long about being offended when our liberties are removed. A small percentage of the silent majority have gathered for these board meetings, and when this sleeping giant wakes up, we're going to make a difference. I have a copy of McGuffey Readers at home that my parents and probably your parents and most of our grandparents studied. In them it seemed acceptable to make reference to Scripture and God. Most of us would agree that they, our parents and grandparents, did turn out pretty good, and in fact have been called the greatest generation. We have now learned that the administration of the middle school has required all teachers to remove all religious displays since middle school students don't drive and find it difficult to come early or stay after school. Mr. White's memo that there will be no clubs or meetings during the lunchtime has effectively destroyed the organization of FCA in the middle school, a group that has had a positive effect for many years. Our disagreement is...